It's the final episode of Titan Table Talk for the month of March. We got an exciting episode ahead for you. Spring sports well underway. Men's lacrosse entering their conference slate in a few days. Softball with a very eventful weekend at home, and men's volleyball in the home stretch of their campaign. And we start with that. I'm joined by seniors Luke Hartke and Ryan Myers. I'm Matt Sosler, and guys are coming off of a great and lengthy contest up against number 6 Carthage. That match going to 5 sets. Walk me through that.
Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah, we knew what we were going into. It's a really far drive, about 3.5 hours getting in there. Trying to get locked in the best we can do. It was their senior day. It was going to be packed. We knew that they were going to come out with a lot of intensity. They want to play for their seniors and all that they've accomplished in these past couple of years. But we didn't let it get to us. We came out all cylinders firing. First set, we're able to take them down. Next 2 sets got away from us a little bit, just big plays here or there. We're able to clutch it back up in the 4th set and then take them as far as we did in the 5th.
Yeah, it was a really good showing of what we can do. I think it's some of the best volleyball we've played here at Wesleyan, and we had a great time. I mean, it was the closest we've come with them, and it still, stinks to lose, but we were pretty proud of what we did there.
And how do you think that Carthage match represents where this program has gone over the last few years? A team that, like Carthage, that's consistently in the top 20, one of the best teams in the country, won a national championship a few years ago. You're able to take them 5, and then you're able to just stay in it, and it shows the improvement of this program. How is that represented, what this group can do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, I think it's just completely showed the improvement we've had over the last this is our 5th year as a program, and in the past we've taken, I believe, 1 set from Carthage. And, in this year, with all our freshmen playing and a lot of new guys, we were able to take 2 sets, and I think that just shows how much we've improved and where we're going. I think it's just up from here.
Yeah.
Talk about that freshman class. This is a group that is one of the largest recruiting classes, probably outside of the initial. You two being seniors, having a very young team, what has your role been in terms of mentoring them and getting them ready for the next stage in college volleyball?
They have an incredible amount of skill, an incredible mentality for only being freshmen, and we knew that as soon as they stepped onto the court. So it wasn't much about us teaching them. It was more about them kind of just learning the lifestyle here, at a school like this. You got to balance your academics, your social life, and athletics, and helping them just start off on the right foot. They got 4 years left, and then continue to ball out as they have been on the court. Just let them find their flow and let them do the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Just mentor them when we can, but also make them as good as we can.
You two came in year 2 of this program that's now in year 5. Reflect on the last 4 years, Titan volleyball, your time at Illinois Wesleyan, and how it's been for you guys.
It's been a great time. I mean, we've definitely enjoyed it. Year 4 here, it's a lot different than when we started. We have a lot more guys. We have a lot more potential and just better volleyball overall. Just a ton of improvement. It's night and day from when we started off here, and it's gotten a lot more fun and a lot better as we've gone with it.
Yeah, when I first stepped onto this campus to be where we are today, I would have never guessed. If someone told me 4 years ago that we were going to come as far as we have, and the sky's truly the limit, I would say, get out of here. There's no way. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's awesome to see.
Tying to that about building this program and where it was 4 years ago, strictly on the court, you do that 4 years ago, and then this year you continue to increase the most amount of wins in a season. What has it been like building this program to where it is, and how do you feel about leaving it where it's at right now with the underclassmen that are ready to take over?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of growing this is all thanks to Coach Mueller. I mean, he's done a great job recruiting. I feel like we've gotten more and better and bigger every class so far. And, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest part as to how we got where we are now. But also, you know, the guys that have done it, us and the seniors that graduated that last year and a lot of the older guys now, it's been a lot of work to build it and be able to get these guys, you know, better, bigger players to come play with us. And it's been a great time. I think we've done a good job at it.
Yeah, coming in when we were only 2 years into the program, it's hard to eyeball a national championship. It's hard to eyeball a CCIW title. So Coach putting a lot of his trust in us putting a lot of our trust in a coach to focus on building up something that's going to leave a legacy and definitely make Illinois Wesleyan a men's volleyball program that everyone's going to have their eyes on, hopefully in years to come.
Yeah, and I'm pretty happy with where we're leaving it. I mean, we still got more to do this year, but so far I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah.
We'll dive on that in just a second. Matt Sosler alongside Titan men's volleyball seniors Luke Hartke and Ryan Myers. Ryan, you mentioned earlier on in this segment about balancing academics and athletics, making the whole thing work together. You two are both seniors. Dare I ask the question that everybody dreads? What's next for both of you personally?
Grad school. I'm studying psychology here, and with all the help of my advisor, my professors, just the resources that I've been given here, I'm able to continue that. I'll be at Illinois State next year studying sports psychology and then keeping all the doors open from there.
Yeah, I'm studying to be certified as a financial planner. I'm looking to go to Chicago and start my big kid life working there.
Before you two become certified adults, you got a lot of business to take care of, both in the classroom and on the volleyball court. The CCIW is a gauntlet. Consistently, 4 of the 6 teams have been ranked in the top 20. You end the season with another pair of ranked matches, taking on Loras in a home-and-home due to the postponement from a few weeks ago. Before we talk about Loras specifically, talk about the strength of the CCIW in men's volleyball.
To be the best, you got to compete with the best. And what the CCIW has been capable of getting to the national championship, to winning the national championship, you know that it's always going to be a battle. And we've known that every year. This year, we've been able to do some really incredible things, make some really big steps. And once it gets to the CCIW tournament, you know, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we can get in there. And at that point, it's just dancing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're in it. I like the competition. It's, you know, one of the best there is in D3 men's volleyball at least, and I wouldn't rather any other way.
You got 2 matches versus Loras in the same week, something that's kind of rare in men's volleyball, playing the same team 3 days apart. How does that impact your preparation, both going to Dubuque and when they come here for senior day?
I think, you know, we've been getting ready for them. We're watching them. We're ready to go, and we just got to be ready to bring it back to back. You know, it's only a few days apart, so we got to stay on our feet and keep moving. But I think it's going to be a good time, and we're going to use what we know to get at them and win the games.
Yeah, it's definitely nice when you can scout the same team over the course of a week. You don't have to worry about going to 2 different places or 2 different teams. We know what we're going to be up against. Wednesday is going to be a really good day to really push, you know, test the waters a little bit, make sure that we know what's popping, and hopefully come out on top when we go to them, and then know that when they come back here, we got to be ready to do it again and go from there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
What are some of the keys to success against Loras?
I think our defense is going to be key. They've got some big hitters, and we got to be able to control it and stay low, stay on our feet, and keep the ball in the air. Don't let it touch the ground. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Dig or die mentality.
But, yeah, exactly. That's kind of what we're thinking, but also do what we can in the front row and hit hard.
Yeah, it's really just about putting pressure on them. If we can be the aggressor and remain the aggressor throughout the course of the game, good things can happen. Yeah. We can work with that.
Only 2 games left in the regular season. What are you most looking forward to the rest of the way?
Taking in every single second.
Yeah, enjoying it.
Never going to get this again.
I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan men's volleyball seniors Luke Hartke and Ryan Myers. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to chat, and good luck this week against Loras.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Titans head to Iowa for a Wednesday contest. They return home for Senior Day at the Shirk Center, a 5 o'clock start on Saturday. You can either come out to the Shirk, cheer on this Titan men's volleyball team as they make a push towards the postseason, or if you can't make it, we'll have the live broadcast for you right here on iwsports.com. We chat some softball with Jen Kuhn and Ava Khoury following a great weekend at Inspiration Field right after this on Titan Table Talk.
They say inside every challenge is an opportunity. At Illinois Wesleyan, you have the power to seize that opportunity. Discover the tools, the mentors, and the experiences to take on any challenge and shape not just who you are, but who you will become. The best college in Illinois for jobs is right here. Tap or click now to start your free application and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Titan Table Talk resumes. We move outside. It was a very busy, eventful weekend at Carolus Park at Inspiration Field. I'm Matt Sosler, joined by Titan softball seniors Ava Khoury and Jen Kuhn. Appreciate both of you stopping by after a very long, lengthy, but very well worth it weekend out on the diamond.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're excited to be here. It was a good weekend.
Yeah, very excited to be here. It was a lot of fun.
So we'll start off in the midweek against Illinois College, a split. Walk me through sort of that midweek doubleheader and just getting your legs back under you after a tough go against Trine.
You want to go?
Yeah, I feel like Trine, we had some good games, both winnable games. We were down by, realistically, we should have only been down a run in both of those games. And so just a few things are different, and we win both of those. So that was kind of tough to come out of that with no wins. But going into IC, I think we just got down early in that first game, and it was hard for us to bounce back. But in game 2, we came in with a focus that let's jump on it and find a way to score. We need this win, and the team came together and found a way to get it done.
Yeah, I think that we really started playing our game that second game versus IC. It was a pretty uncharacteristic game for us to not score game 1 of the day, but I think that I'm proud of the way that we jumped on it, like Jen said, and played our game and didn't play down, and it was good. So it's good to get a win.
Titan softball sits at 11-5 after this great week. Move ahead to the weekend, the main story of this week for Titan softball, the first tournament hosted at Inspiration Field. Before we get into the specifics of the game, it was a very lengthy weekend, something that you might see when you get to CCIW, when you get to the NCAA tournament. You never know what delays are going to happen. You never know how long you're going to have between games. How has this weekend helped prepare you for what you might endure in the postseason?
It definitely helps us to be prepared for long days that we might have. I think that, usually doubleheaders can take up to like 6-7 hours, but being out there, we were there for 12, 13 hours at least.
That's crazy.
So, definitely a preview of what we'll see in the CCIW, and I'm just honestly grateful that we got all of the games in. I don't think that we expected to get all 4 in, so that was awesome. So.
Yeah, it was actually funny because we were warming up on the football field and we were talking about how it felt like postseason, because when we host the CCIW tournament, like we've been lucky to the past 2 years, we're usually waiting to play and we're warming up on the football field, so it really felt like kind of those postseason vibes. So just staying in it, staying focused, even when we're there for 12 hours. I was proud of how we were able to stay focused and play our game and do what we had to do.
You beat Wartburg 14-7 on Saturday morning, a game of call and response, 8 total runs scored in the 6th inning. Talk to me about that game, just the chaos of game 1 of that invite.
Yeah, that was a really fun game. I think that our energy is very contagious when we're hitting. Everyone's hitting. So that was exciting. And then I think that our defense matched it too. It was back and forth, but it was a good game. It was a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree. I think when one bat gets going, we've found a way in our more recent games to carry that energy into the next at-bat. So finding a way to keep doing that throughout the season, I think, is going to be our focus, because that's when we're at our best.
10 hours in between games, a rain delay pushing back the 2 neutral site games, and then a lot of chaos happening in those 2 contests, both those games going long. How did you stay mentally locked in, prepared, and pass the time in between the 2 games?
Well, to pass the time, I know some people went home, some people napped, some people hung out, watched the games, but I think that we all knew that we had to maintain some level of focus throughout the entire day because we had a job to get done. So everyone was on the same page in that regard. But, I just hung out at the field and watched the games, and it was a fun day, honestly.
Yeah, our parents organized a team meal, so we all ate really well after the first game. So I ate a lot of food, and then I just kind of hung out in the locker room with some people, made some TikToks for our softball TikTok, and watched the games that were happening at the time just to stay locked in.
You mentioned taking care of business. You did just that on Saturday night, taking down DePaul 6-1. 2 runs in the first. They clapped back with a solo home run, but then you're able to tack on 2 more in the 6th and 2 more in the 7th. And get some insurance. A different style of a game, more pitching and defensive center, but able to break it open late. How did that help prepare you guys into Sunday?
I think just, staying focused and not making any moment bigger than it really is. Our coaches tell us a base hit will always work. So, not getting in our head, not overcomplicating the situation, and just taking it pitch by pitch, honestly, is what helped us in that game, I would say.
Yeah. One of our main things we say as a team is staying one pitch focused. That's Coach Tiffany's favorite thing, I think. So just every pitch matters. So maybe the last pitch didn't go the way you wanted. What's the next pitch going to bring? What can you bring to the table? And find a way to succeed in that next pitch is always what we're looking to do.
All 9 hitters registered a base hit in that DePaul contest. What's it like having a balanced lineup that it clearly showed over all 4 games? Pitchers can't take anybody off.
It's really exciting, honestly. I think, like I said, whenever someone's hitting, someone else starts hitting, and we just keep passing it on. And I think going further into our season, that's going to be really good for us because I think when we're all hitting, we're pretty unstoppable. So that was exciting to see.
Yeah, I would say in our 4 years here, this is the deepest roster we've ever had. So knowing even if one person's not being successful, there's other people who can pick you up. And I think that's going to be a great thing for us. Like she said, going into postseason, we have a lot of bats and we have trust in every single person in the lineup to be able to get the job done when it matters. And I think that's huge because of that element of trust. You can feel the belief from other people even if you don't feel it in yourself, and that goes a long way.
Sunday, you get Lake Forest College in a doubleheader. There's a lot of familiarity between these 2 teams. Coach Miller played there under the same coaching staff that is still currently with the Foresters. And you go out, and just a few things happen on Sunday, not a ton. But you win game 1, 8-7. Offense was right there. Pitching was there as well. Walk me through game 1.
I think game 1 we came out hot, which was good, and then they responded and we responded a little bit slow. Whenever they started scoring runs, we didn't respond with as many runs as we would have liked to. I'm proud of us for putting up 8 runs early, though. That was good. And so after that game, I would say that we kind of felt a sense of urgency to do more, especially because it was Coach Miller's birthday. Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if you know that,
Coach Miller's birthday.
We really wanted to come out hot that second game because we felt like we could have done a little bit more in the later innings of the first game. So.
Yeah, I would agree. We came out hot, which was great, and then they were able to respond. And so I think, especially in the future, finding a way to put up even some more runs so it's not just a 1-run game, I think we're more than capable of that. But being able to come out hot in game 2 and find a way to get it done, because I think we know we can put up those kind of numbers, so continuing to do that and trusting each other to get that job done.
Matt Sosler alongside Titan shortstop Jen Kuhn and first baseman Ava Khoury. Let's talk about game 2. Everything clicking. Ava, 2 3-run home runs, 6 RBIs, tied the second most in Illinois Wesleyan history and are the most since 2021. One of 4 Titans to collect multiple hits in the game, 9 total for IWU. Offense first, and then we'll dive into pitching and defense. Jen, you homered in the first, and then it seemed everybody caught the home run bug.
Yeah. I think that first pitcher had a little bit more speed than some of the other ones we faced, which tends to be more what I like. So I did get down in an 0-2 count, and I did not have the best at bat, but just finding a way to just get barreled to the ball, and it just happened to go over, so that was good. But then everyone else kind of seemed to follow, and the energy was contagious, and we all had this belief that we could put up the same types of runs and even more, and then some. For Coach Miller's birthday, I came back in the dugout after my home run, and I told her happy birthday. So it was just fun.
Yeah, Jen definitely set the tone with that first home run. I do think that it was a little bit quicker than we anticipated. It had some good movement too, but I'm proud of us for adjusting as quick as we did, because that's been a problem for us in the past, where maybe we don't adjust as quickly as we should to a different type of pitching style. So I'm really proud of us for jumping on that and scoring quick, and then ultimately they had to take that pitcher out, so that was awesome.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think that's something we've struggled with, especially for the more slower pitching. We don't tend to like to hit the slower pitchers, so the way we were able to learn from not only our own at-bats but our teammates' at-bats earlier was a big reason why we were able to have the success that we did and get the runs that we did.
Not only that, but they changed pitchers, and you're still able to pile on runs, a lot more velocity from their starter, and then the reliever, a little bit more of a finesse worker. How important was it then to just keep the bats going and stay on pace and make those adjustments?
Very important. We work in practice all the time, changing speeds and every drill we do just about. So I think that we were really prepared and we seized the moment, and it was good. I'm proud of how we responded to that.
Yeah, especially considering our history with some of those pitchers last year, the game didn't necessarily go how we wanted. So coming out with a focus that we're going to be able to make these adjustments and find a way to score runs, it was good.
Flipping sides, you put up 11 runs, no big deal. Gianna Serta, a perfect game. What was it like playing behind her, going through that, and especially for the two of you playing big roles, being the shortstop and the first baseman?
Gianna's incredible. It's so fun to play behind Gianna. And to know that everyone on the field has each other's backs too. Everyone out on the field is more than capable to make every play. So it's a really fun environment, and Gianna did great. It was awesome.
Yeah, Gianna, she has never failed to just do an amazing job out there. We always trust her to get the job done. We have a lot of trust in her and just the whole defense altogether. She produces a lot of pop-ups, weak ground balls, and we know that we can make those plays for her, and it's just a great team environment. I'm just so happy and proud of her and the team for being able to back her up and just have each other's backs, like you said.
The first Titan perfect game since pre-pandemic times in 2020. Now, as an infield and as a defense, there's a lot of superstitions involving perfect games with the pitcher, with everybody involved, no matter what you're doing. What was the vibe like both on the field, in the dugout? Was it mentioned? Did people know that she still had a perfect game, especially after you broke the 8-run threshold, knowing that you were then 3 outs away entering the bottom of the 6th inning? What was it like down there?
We're definitely superstitious. You can't say it out loud. That's a big no-no. That happened earlier this year at Monmouth. Ella Hermits had a perfect game going. Someone said it out loud. It got called out in the huddle afterwards. So we know now that that's not something that you say. But I think that some of our players might not have even known that she had a perfect game. Casey Westmiller, our third baseman, she fielded that bunt, and everyone got so excited, obviously, because we were 1 out away, and she was like, I do that all the time. Like, what's going on? Yeah. So I think that that's just a testament to her character, too. She's so locked in all the time. She is unfazed by it. And Gianna, obviously, is so good that it just felt like another day at work for Casey, I guess. But
So what was the dugout like during, especially when y'all were hitting? Was Gianna in the dugout just on an island? Like, was she interacting with people? Like, it's hard being a pitcher in that situation.
Gianna's always kind of more quiet and, like, sticks to herself in the dugout. I would say for me, I didn't even really realize it until, like, I feel like it was, like, the 4th inning, and I was just out on the field, and I was like, I low-key feel like nobody's been on base this game. I was like, and I knew that the scoreboard said no hits, but like I was like, I don't think anyone's gotten on. And so that was when I was like, I actually think this might be a perfect game. And it was funny because going into that last inning, the dugout, we always have good energy. So like whether a perfect game is going or not, I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell based on our dugout, because even if we're down or we're up, our energy's good. That's something we really pride ourselves on. But it was funny because going into defense that last inning, Coach Tiffany pulled me aside and was like, tell the infielders that you're diving for everything. And so I went back and I pulled everyone. It was me, Ava, Annika, and Casey. I was like, Coach Tiff's orders, we're diving for everything. And to go on to her point, it was funny because then after the bunt that Casey fielded, she didn't even realize that it was, like, the comment had to do with a perfect game. She had no idea that Coach Tiff saying dive for everything was because of the perfect game, and it's just so funny because she's just so locked. And she just had no idea, but
Yeah. I think I realized around inning 4 also, so I just motivates you more to do your job, I guess. But yeah, it was a really great game. Gianna did great.
Because both games bleed together, and in game 1, Claire Post had an outstanding day behind the plate defensively. I believe she threw out 2 to 3 runners within the first half of that game. So you kind of don't know, did Claire throw somebody out in the first inning?
Yeah,
What's going
right.
on? I'm looking at my book, and I'm saying, okay, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, all the way through the 6th. And we're like, okay, get to the last inning, and then just like you all in the dugout and on the field, keep it to yourself till the game's over.
Right.
And then you go from there. You don't want to jinx anything, especially late in there. And then mention Claire Post. Going back to game 1 for just a second, her defense behind the plate, and then also coming in to catch both games, catch Gianna for that perfect game, and also kind of keep everybody in check. Talk about her performance over the doubleheader.
She did phenomenal. I'm so proud of Claire and how hard she's been working. I think that she was such a difference maker in that first game, her defense and her offense. Those plays that she made, her throws were spot on. Jen can attest to that. Obviously, she's the one catching the ball at 2, but she did a great job.
Yeah, she's earned everything that she's gotten, not just this weekend, but the whole season, and what she'll continue to accomplish throughout the year. She is always working on her throwdowns, asking me to go work on them before or after practice, whatever it is. And she had a home run in game 1 that was huge, and her throws, like you said, spot on. The one girl did slide a little bit past second, and we made the most of it. But even I think we got someone out at third that took a hard.
Yeah, she took advantage of a missed sacrifice spot, so it was great.
So she sets the standard behind the plate, sets the tone for the entire team. She's a great communicator, and she really just brings all of us together, and I love her energy, and I'm proud of her for everything she's done so far.
Yeah, she's been a great leader this season as well.
Yeah.
Matt Sosler alongside Jen Kuhn and Ava Khoury of the Titan softball team. A couple more for you. This team is finally catching its stride. Go to California, pick up a couple big wins there, come back home, and finally starting to get everything going. A complete team game, obviously, in Game 2 against Lake Forest, but one could say that you're right where you want to be. When the pitching might not be having a good day, the offense picks them up, vice versa. What's it like having that, especially as you make the home stretch towards conference play in a little over a week?
I would say I think this team has known from the beginning that we have a lot of potential and we have all the tools to be successful really deep into postseason. So it's just about finding a way to put it all together, like you said. So finding a way to have good pitching outings, but also good hitting, good defense, and all of that together at once. Or if one's down, finding ways for the other two to pick it up. And so I think these last few games we've found a way to do that. So continuing to be able to do that into the next few games throughout conference and just the rest of the season, we have all the tools we need. So just keeping that same energy, same focus and approach, and I think we have amazing things coming our way.
Yeah, I agree. Like Jen said, the depth on this team is the best that we've had since we've been here, I would say. And just the way that everyone picks each other up, has each other's backs on offense and on defense, it's exciting. I think that we can do really big things. We can all bring it all together at the same time. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Hopefully leads to a long season, culminating in an eventful end of May on your home field. But before that, you got Whitewater in the midweek, and then you have your second home tournament, welcoming Wisconsin Eau Claire and Worcester to Carol Willis Park at Inspiration Field. Obviously a weekend with a lot, high emotions. You have some time to sort of come back down to earth and get back in the right mindset. Where's the team at right now heading into what should be another tough week of softball for the Titans?
Yeah, I think that, of course, we want to celebrate our wins, but at the same time, we need to stay humble, stay focused. And every game that we play, we need to treat it as if it's the best game that we're going to play. Everyone's trying to beat us, of course. So we need to go into every game focused, every game humble, and ready to play our game, not play down to anyone.
I agree. We played some really good games, obviously, but we have tough competition coming our way. But I also know that we all know that we're capable of beating any team when we play our game. So just staying locked, one pitch focus, taking it one pitch at a time, and bringing our game and our energy, and nobody can beat us. So keeping that approach and knowing that as we go into these big games this week.
An exciting start for the Titan softball team, 11-5, a 4-0 weekend in the first Illinois Wesleyan Invite. 2 games up at Whitewater in the midweek, and then they return home for next weekend's tournament. 2 games against Worcester and Eau Claire, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. So come out to Carol Willis Park at Inspiration Field and cheer on the Titans. Certainly a special season in the making. Jen Kuhn, Ava Khoury, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
We move across the track. Titan men's lacrosse off to a 7-2 start. Head coach Zach Iannucci and All-American Gage Black when we come back on Titan Table Talk.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And. Here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Tap or click now to explore Illinois Wesleyan and start your free application today.
Closing out this edition of Titan Table Talk, we just heard from Ava Khoury and Jen Kuhn following softball's 4-0 weekend, and now we go across the track to Tucci Stadium to talk some men's lacrosse. We're joined by head coach Zach Iannucci and All-American Gage Black. I'm Matt Sosler. The men's lacrosse team, a 2-0 week, a comeback win up in Michigan against Calvin, and then taking care of business against another MIAA school, this time at home in Adrian. Coach, we'll start with you. Your general thoughts on a good week.
Well, yeah, listen, anytime you win, it's a good week. I think we had a tough spring break. It was not our best. It was actually our 2 losses of the season, and the first one against Colorado College obviously was really difficult. Don't think we played our best at all from start to finish. And then Ursinus, I thought it was a game we actually were up on them pretty good early and just kind of faded towards the end. So I thought it was really good, to watch us against Calvin, where I thought we started well, and then there was like a pretty big lull where I think we were down 10-7 at half. Just I think it tests a lot of your team's like character, like what they're really about when things aren't going well. And I think, coming off that spring break trip, there was definitely some questions. And I think a lot of those got answered against Calvin of just how they continue to battle back, found a way, in the way that we want to do it too, right? Like I think we finally found some rhythm in who we are and what we want to be about in that second half. And then obviously that carried into Adrian, which was just I don't want to say an onslaught offensively, but it was, I thought we really offensively just attacked everything. And I thought their goalie played great. I think he had like 24 saves, 22 saves, something like absurd. And we still managed to score 23 goals. And I'm not sure we played all that great, honestly, but it was like the way that they played that I think I was the happiest about, right? Like X's and O's wise, forget that. Throw that out the window. It was just like the enthusiasm level that they just were ferocious, the way that they attacked the goal for most of that game, which was pretty awesome. So, 2-0 after the week's great, kind of heading into conference play now.
A comeback win against Calvin, 18-15. You never led until the start of the fourth quarter. You got 9 points from the CCIW Offensive Player of the Week in Timothy McHugh. Ike Eastburn putting up 4 goals as well. And then, like you alluded to, Coach, Adrian, just an offensive onslaught. And Gage, I'll bring you in here to talk about that, notching another hat trick on the year, coming back after, for you personally, a bit of a different offensive role up in Michigan against Calvin. What was the week like for you, and how important was it to have that offensive onslaught against Adrian?
Coach kind of touched on it. We're finally getting to where we want to be and starting to play like how we used to play and we typically play. And it's never really about X's and O's. It's just kind of just putting your face down and going downhill. And it's kind of just mayhem, but it's controlled, but that's where we like to live.
Is it controlled?
He uses the analogy. He gives us a canvas, and then we decide what we paint on it. But I don't know if we're even on the canvas.
It might be one of those things where it's splatter paint.
Yeah.
The whole game is splatter paint. It doesn't look good, but then when the clock hits triple zeros, you can put it in a museum. That's exactly how the Adrian game might be.
I love that analogy.
So that might be the Titan offense that is finally starting to find its groove.
Sure.
Start of the year was more of a defensive type thing, would you say? Games that are 11-6, 15-8, scoring over 20 goals for the first time this season on Saturday as you head into conference play in a couple weeks. How has this offense come together in what it looks similar but different considering the new group that you have this year compared to last?
Yeah, it feels good. Definitely getting in like a rhythm. We've been messing around with a bunch of stuff as far as like the attack rotations and stuff like that. And I got to play a little bit in Michigan in the last couple weeks. I love it. Not the biggest fan, but yeah, I think everyone's starting to attack, and it's not like I said, not really X's and O's, all of us being on the same page, but if we're all attacking, if one of us does something wrong and we all follow that guy at like 100 miles an hour, we can't go wrong. So yeah, we've been trusting each other more and all just like,
Yeah, listen, you build that over the course of a year though, right? Like that's not, even though these guys, you got a couple fifth years, a lot of seniors, like they've been playing together a long time, but this team's different than last year's team, which is different than the team before that. And I think that just comes with the ups and downs, right? The highs and the lows. And, you can check the stats on this, but that might be the first game that Gage has ever played in where you didn't have a point.
First since 2022 against North Central.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. And again, to be able to score what we did in that game, I think is a testament to kind of what Gage said a second ago about, he played a little attack for us. He doesn't love it. We know he doesn't love it, but it's always whatever you need me to do, coach. And that's great leadership because all the other guys, like Timmy actually came out of the box for us a little bit in this last game because we thought it put us in the best position, and Timmy was all in favor of it. And it's easy to do that when you've got guys like Gage and Ike and Bob and Turvo and Skelly, guys that are always willing to do what's ever best for the team. So like when you get great leadership like that, it's easy to follow those guys, right? So again, he doesn't score any points in the last game, but it's all the other stuff that you don't get stats for that I think make the biggest difference.
Especially with this offensive unit that you have a lot of guys that are contributing while not contributing. You talk about hockey assists in lacrosse, if you would, not getting credit on the stat sheet, but making it work there. We'll hit on Colin Turvo later, talk about him a little bit and his strong play from this week, but we talk about chemistry. You lose a couple of vital seniors last year on both sides. Michael Campagna, along with Tristan Seeley, battled some injuries and illness in the early parts of the season. This group is coming together and clicking. What's that like as you head into CCIW?
It's great. And listen, I don't think we're close. Like, I think we're closer than we've been earlier, but I think this group still has a ton of room to grow. And I think that the injuries, the illness, like, I think that's a huge benefit for us in the long run. Obviously not in the short term, but like in the Ursinus game, I think we ran almost 9 midfielders, which is something like we've never done, and got a chance to see some guys who now are playing some bigger roles for us, and like that's huge. So, again, I think we're continuing to work at it. Like, there's a lot of season left, and for us, it's March 31st. Like, the goal is to be playing our best when we roll around into conference playoffs, and that's coming about 4 or 5 weeks. So again, we got to make the conference playoffs, and then it's about winning one game at a time. And so for us, I think we're playing our best that we have so far this season. But like, listen, we gave up. You kind of hit it earlier. Like, defense was playing great earlier, maybe not playing as well as we'd like for them and for us to be playing right now, but it's there. And when both sides of the ball come together, face-offs, again, we're just going to continue to work to get there, and hopefully by early May, late April, we're there. So, but you could talk more about the chemistry. I mean, I think you're feeling the chemistry offensively now, and I think it's like the lack of chemistry that creates the chemistry. Like, again, different places, different people, all of it.
Well, yeah, and we don't have any like specific blueprint or like So, yeah, just it takes time and reps and, like, hours and hours together. And I think that's one of my favorite things about this team. And it's a big thing that he said on this year about we have the same, like, base principles throughout our program and everyone that's gone through it. But every team, every year is completely different character. And this team it's fun to be around. It's a big circus. It's a whole lot of fun.
But totally different than last year's team.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
personality-wise?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think everyone on this team is, like, finally learning that balance between, like, what we've always talked about, like, work hard, have fun. Our practices have been changing back to like, the tempo and the intensity they used to. Guys are really sore, and that's, like, the best thing to hear because everyone's working their butt off. Yeah, so practices are becoming more fun, more high energy. Everyone's competing more. Yeah.
It kind of go off what Gage is saying. Like the last couple of weeks, we've gone 2 days on, 1 day off, and that's a result of how hard they're working at practice. Like we feel like I'm not sure we could do it like that. Yeah, we've never done that. Like we've always gone 5-6 days and just like we're gonna grind them up. But this group has really taken to it. They've done a really good job at practice, and I think you're starting to finally see some of that come out in games. But we were joking earlier in the year, like we wish we would play our games the way we would practice.
Yeah.
And I think that's like finally, like we've just taken it to another gear. But again, there's a lot of time left, and we got to find that next gear because Elmhurst looks really good. Carthage looks really good. North Central had a big win this weekend. Like there's some really good teams in our conference that, you know, it's getting more challenging every year. So
Matt Sosler alongside Titan men's lacrosse head coach Zach Iannucci and All-American Gage Black. We talked a lot about offense. We've talked a lot about maybe some strategy and different pieces. Let's talk goaltending, Coach. Colin Turvo has stood on his head over the past few games, has made a ton of incredible saves on grade A looks for the opposition. He's obviously experienced. He's obviously, like you alluded to, a leader who's willing to do anything for this group, but he's also executed and done his job very well in between the pipes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I think from a goalie room, you got the 4 goalies there, 2 freshmen, Sam Scott, Jameson, AJ. I mean, I think you got one of the best goalie rooms in the country. I think Turvo's one of the best out there, and I don't think we've seen Turvo even come close to playing his best yet, and I think he's been playing great. I think his transition game has been very good, too. I think his willingness to jump into the 10-man, I mean, he took a big hit on Saturday, and I'm not sure Turvo, when he was a sophomore, would have been that committed to that. And it just tells you, like, how far he's come. And just, I mean, what energy and enthusiasm that kid has. But listen, I don't think you've seen him play his best yet. And he's usually one of those guys, biggest days, biggest moment, you get the best version of him. So, yeah, we're lucky to have him. And again, another guy's out there, Schrader, too, taking faceoffs. I mean, to have 2 guys that are as old as those guys with as much experience as they have, I mean, that's a really nice thing to have because they can change games. And I think you saw that with Turvo last year in the conference championship game. I think he had 19 saves in that game. Biggest moment, biggest game. That's him. You could speak to. I mean, you're in the locker room with him, but like,
yeah, I
he's
think
that
the more
guy.
challenges he faces, the better he's going to get. I think it's similar to Timmy.
Yeah.
All of Timmy's best games, someone's gotten under his skin or something's happened, and it flipped something. Yeah, I think Turv has done a great job this year, leading. It's been nice to have him be alongside him, like leading the team. Super vocal, high energy. Yeah, we like to say it's his call, and we're following him.
Certainly looking to build on that into conference play. And before we talk about the CCIW slate going for a 7th straight regular season CCIW crown, it showed on Saturday. This group has a ton of energy. You see it on the bench when the opposition's on offense, trying to rally guys up. You see it on the offensive end. You also see it when things might get a little chippy during the contest. Both of you talk about the energy of this group and also how it can help change the tides of a game. We saw on Saturday in the first half, it was a game of runs. You scored the first 2, Adrian Clapback with 3, and then you guys went on a run, pretty much tied the bow on the contest, and a lot of that you could say came from the sideline.
For sure. You just kind of hit on it. Just watch the film. I mean, they're outrageous. Listen, everybody on our team has a role to making us successful, and we've talked about this. We talk about this all the time. Like, it might not be on the field. It might be the hockey assist guy. It might be the guy that's got to move the ball to the guy that's going to make the hockey assist. And it might be the guy like Jared Brunson, who is absolutely electric on the sideline. And you talk about, we talk about having fun. Like, listen, I think officials sometimes can't stand how loud our bench is. And you know what, though? Like, we're here, we're playing a game. It should be fun. Like, it should be fun. But it also worked really hard. So, again, like, we are always trying to balance this, like, work hard, have fun. But, like, when you get out there in the game and somebody does something awesome, celebrate it. Somebody pushes one of your guys, like, we're just not going to let that slide either. Like, so, like, again, the energy's across the board. And, like, when we play, it's 60 minutes. Like, again, I'm not sure we've done that yet, but, like, we're constantly working for 60 minutes. Like, we call it 60 minutes of hell. Like, we want the whole stadium to feel that. We want the opposing teams, the officials to feel like, hey, listen, if you're going to come down and work on our games, like, you better tie your shoes because it's going to be, we're coming. Like, and that's what we're about. It's more fun that way. Like, it's more buy-in, get all in.
Yeah, like you said, like, if you just go back and watch the film, even on the sideline, you'll see there's so many layers to everything going on. Like, I saw a trash can flying against Albion. It's a whole lot of fun, and
it's mayhem.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. It's the ruckus. How about that? It's the ruckus, and it's just, listen. I think there's teams out there that want to be. I don't know. Is it buttoned up? Is it like, we're going to play lacrosse the right way? And we're like, yeah, when you know what, we're going to play it our way. And I think, again, let me be very clear about this. You meet our guys outside of that 60 minutes. I think you meet our coaches outside of that 60 minutes. The nicest people, well-respected, get great grades, volunteer, like, you name it, just like all-time great people. In those 60 minutes, though, I mean, we're yeah. It's the ruckus, man, and it's just fun. Again, it's fun. Like, I don't know how anybody doesn't come to that game, walk away being like, that was a blast. Like, that was a blast to just be a part of. And that's, again, I think when we're doing it right, it feels like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
got a little tangent there. You got fired up.
Yeah. It's like a big party.
That ruckus will have to, stay aside for a little bit, considering you have a break until CCIW competition, going for your 7th straight regular season crown. What's your plan of attack, Coach, in the CCIW, trying to get that done?
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Yeah, listen, I think we've got a really talented team that's still working to come together as a team and trying to put it together for 60 minutes or 64 minutes, like whatever it takes. And I think we keep constantly making adjustments to try to find what's going to work best for this group, not last year's group. And I think we're getting there. Again, it's going to be a challenge. These teams are getting better in conference. There's no doubt about that. And Elmhurst looks really good. They're undefeated. I think Carthage has 2 losses. They're good. But at the end of the day, we do whatever it takes to find a way, whether that's scoring and winning 30-29 or winning a 2-1 game. Like, whatever it takes, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do whatever it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think the biggest thing is focusing on us, because not that we got away from it, but I think we're finally, like we said, getting some momentum and finding ourselves as a team. So if we just keep focusing on ourselves and tightening everything up, I think we'll be fine.
The Titans embark on a trek to their 7th straight CCIW regular season crown on April the 9th at Tucci Stadium against North Central College. Matt Sosler alongside Titan head men's lacrosse coach Zach Iannucci and All-American Gage Black. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time. With that, that'll wrap up this edition of Titan Table Talk. We'll catch you next week.